Hi everyone, this is Parvez again on a new episode of the Power Widgets Deep Dive Show, and today the special guest is none other than Danish Naglekar. Hi Danish.
Hey Parvez,
How
glad
you
to be
doing?
on the show.
Thank you,
I
thank
am
you.
doing great, and yeah, really excited to talk through the tools and everything that. So really glad to be on the show.
Excellent, thank you, thanks Danish. This is an honor to have you on the show. You've been an established member of the community. You've been doing some great work for a while now. So today's topic is obviously the Dataverse Dev Tools for VS Code. Before we do that, before we get into the description, tell us a little bit about yourself, just as an introduction for people who might be viewing you for the first time, who you are, where you are, what sort of work you do, what your specialty is, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So my name is Danish Naglekar, as you called out. I live in suburbs of Charlotte, North Carolina, in United States. But originally from India. Came here in United States about 14, 15 years ago. So this is my home right now. And I have been in the Power Platform and before that CRM space since 2011, worked through all the versions, little bit of 4.0 in the beginning, and then immediately switched over to 2011 because that was the one that actually got the ball rolling on everything that we have so far, right? So started from there, and then journey has been seeing this platform evolve so much. And I work for Ernst& Young right now. I'm a senior manager overlooking the delivery engagements and the client relationships at EY. But I'm also hands-on. I like to be hands-on. From my technical background, full stack developer, right? I cannot let that go anytime. So even if I'm on engagements, I like to see what my technical architects are doing, what my developers are doing. I still do code reviews. I still go and look at all the architectures and everything,
Yeah,
and make sure that I'm training them in the right ways and whatnot. So
yeah.
yeah, that's about me.
That's really cool. I think that resonates a lot with me as well. I have a very similar kind of background and experience as well. So no wonder we get along so well. So that is today's topic is the Dataverse Dev Tools for VS Code. Tell us a little bit about what that is briefly without going into before we go into the demo. Your journey in creating it and sharing it, and basically how it's got to where it is today.
Yeah. So so I so the reason why I started Dataverse Dev Tools was there were a lot of extensions in Visual Studio, and no one kept up to date on those extensions. And I had already transitioned over to VS Code. PCF. I was building PCFs in VS Code. I was doing web resources in VS Code because it's much more easier to work with, like web packs or rollups or any of those tree shaking methodologies and whatnot. So I really liked VS Code. And then before I actually built Dataverse DevTools, I have built a extension for PCF Builder in VS Code. So it gave me a learning experience of how to build it. Uh, and then I was working with XML Toolbox as well, but then XML Toolbox is on a legacy Windows form based application, right? So my idea was that, hey, why can't we just create an extension in VS Code where developers are actually there all the time, and then give them all the functionalities without leaving the interface. I hate going to the portal and uploading a JavaScript.
Yeah,
I've never done that,
yeah,
and I hated doing that when I didn't have an extension in VS Code, but
right.
I could do it in Visual Studio, but I was not using Visual Studio anymore. So that gave me a boost of like creating something, and most of the solutions actually are born out of that, right? You you find a gap and then you try to fix the gap. So that's what my solution was, like, hey, let's just create a extension.
Mhm.
And then initially when I created it, it was just focused on web resources and management of the web resources. And then later on, I added some pack CLI command libraries to it. And then I extended it to I'll show it in the demo as well. I created a Power Platform toolbox, but now you'll say, hey, Power Platform toolbox is actually a desktop application. But the idea was that, hey, let's have a way for developers or for tool makers that are in XM Toolbox to create it somewhere and then host it in Dataverse Dev Tools. But then I worked with Guido to get his tool into Dataverse Dev Tools, but it was very hard for people to understand the VS Code extensions and what goes behind it. And then there are a lot of pipeline things, a lot of issues. So that plan of mine got derailed. And then eventually, that got that was just there. And that's why my journey with Power Platform Toolbox as an independent desktop application started. So it was like that kind of a transition. So Dataverse Dev Tools is the stepping stone for Power Platform Toolbox, you can say.
Nice. That's a great backstory. The way different projects are spawned out of a journey of what was once, a single vision to have something. Great. That's awesome. All right, cool. Let's if you want to share your screen, Danish, and shows your pride and joy, shows what you've done for all these years. I'm very excited to see all of this. So walk us through, maybe starting off with the basic features and work our way upwards to the more advanced ones, the kind of target use cases, how this integrates into the whole, the inner loop developer flow, I guess, is where the focus is going to be, right? But I'll let you correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah. Let me move this over. Hold on, sorry. And this. There you go. Okay. Oh, why is it doing that? Okay. So it doesn't want to move. Okay. So Dataverse Dev Tools is a VS Code extension, as you called out. You can go and download that. If you go to extensions, you can just search for Dataverse Dev Tools, and you should be able to you should be able to see it here, and then you can just install it right from here itself. Once it's installed, you should see the Dataverse logo, Dataverse Dev Tools logo on the activity pane, and then make sure that you are opening up a folder. Now, once you go in here, you can set up a connection. So let's go walk through the connections first. So if you click on this connection, you will see that there's a multi-step process where you can add your Dataverse URL, and then let's add Dataverse URL here. And then you get the type of login authentication, like whether it's going to be Microsoft login prompt, which takes you to your browser. And then if you have MFA enabled, this is the recommended way. But if you want to do client ID secret, or if you want to do username password, you can do that as well. Then you can go through the Microsoft login prompt, give some name. So this will be like Widgets demo maybe. And then you can select what type of environment you want to create. This is optional, so you can skip this. But let's say this is a dev. So now it takes me to the authentication page. The reason why it automatically authenticated me is because I'm already logged into this particular browser. But if you were not logged into a browser, it will open up the browser. It will go through the sign-in screen of like you're entering your username, entering your password, going through the MFA. Once you have done that, then you should be able to see this particular page, which will say that you're all signed in. And then you can go back. And then as soon as you see that all the things are red, but then this one is green because this one is the one that you're connected to. And then it also shows up here. It says connected to, and then it shows you the URL. Okay. Now the cool thing is that it remembers. So if I close this folder and I reopen this folder, so let's do that. I'm gonna say close a folder. Okay, you see that that connected to link went away. Now let's go and reopen that folder again. And then what it does is it silently authenticates you in the backend. So you don't have to all the time authenticate yourself. And there you go. See, connected to powermaverick.crm.dynamics.com. This just simplifies things, right? Because if you're working on the same repo all the time, you don't want to get authenticated all the time. So that's one thing that it does is silently authenticates you. Let me go back here, and it should be green. Now, on the Explorer part of things, as I said, like the idea was that it's most focused on web resources and dealing with web resources. So you can actually start a web resource project, which is either going to be your TypeScript project or a JavaScript project. So if you say, I want to start a TypeScript project, then you provide your namespace. So let's say power widgets. Yeah. And then that would create a Webpack project for you with all the Webpack configurations. So you don't have to worry about that Webpack configuration. So you see that this Power Widgets automatically came up as a library, right?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you can do is in the source, you can add a TypeScript file. So let's add a TypeScript file for account forms. Yeah, account form. So you'll see that the code for the account form came up automatically. Now we have to do npm install. See, it showed up npm install here. So let's go through that. And in the package.json has all dependencies. So it has the XRM types dependencies and Webpack dependencies, and it also has prettier configuration, right? ESLint tools are also added, so you don't have to worry about prettier configuration, ESLint tools, and whatnot.
Nice.
All of that is all packaged.
So you thought about all of those things that we like to do as part of the development. Excellent. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Because what I've seen is a lot of the time people forget doing it, and I'm like, well, it's best practices. So how can you forget best practices? So let's just make it as part of the template.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so now you have the account form, but you would need the typing. So I like early point generator, but early point generator only works with plugins. So I wanted something to do with typings as well. Now there are other tools that are out there. Delegate XRM from Magnus and team from Delegates. They also have a package for creating typings, but their typings, I believe, does not work. Like I was not able to use that to give an IntelliSense. So I wanted to also provide an IntelliSense. And I'm using XRM types. That's what I like. So I wanted to provide IntelliSense with XRM types, right? So for that, I created my own typings. So if you go to Dataverse Dev Tools, you can search for an entity, and because we're doing accounts, let's search for and select accounts. And then if you right click the accounts, you will see this option called as generate typings. Now you can also see some entity details and whatnot that gives you like all the schema of the entity itself. But if you specifically wants to generate a typing, then you can click on generate typing, and it will tell you which folder it needs to go under. So we can put it in the typings folder. So now there is a typing that was added in your project, right? It has the enums, it has the accounts, and then it has this. This is what gives us the IntelliSense for the XRM types. Okay. If I go in here, so in here I can start. Let's use this one, right? So my form context is actually having a type now. What used to happen before is form context was always getting the execution context type, form context type, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm doing an account, then I need to specify that I'm doing a form context for account, or I'm doing a form context for contact, or for any or opportunity. So this way, I'm able to provide my form context is of type xrm.account. Okay, so as soon as I do that, my form context becomes IntelliSense. So then it gives me get attributes.
Yeah.
And then there you go. Now I have all the list of attributes. So I don't have to think about, oh, what is the name of my attribute,
Yeah.
right? And then the other thing that it also does is, so if I'm saying account number is of type number, but account rating code is of type option set, right? So if I'm doing account rating, you'll see that it has something called as get option and get options, because this get attribute is of type option set attribute. Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm doing account number, for example, so then get option and get options went away because this is a number. If I hover over this, you'll see that this, oh, it's actually a string attribute. Never. Yeah, account number is a string attribute. So all those kind of like type checks, that why we use TypeScript, all of that checks are already done as part of this, right? So you don't have to typecast it or do any of those things. It's all part of the typings itself.
Right. So it's reducing the chance of errors and increasing the chance of getting your code right first time, right? So effectively, you've got design time or compile time.
Compile time error.
Yeah.
Correct. Exactly.
Nice.
Okay. So then you save this file and then you have an npm script. So there are two npm scripts. One is build dev. Build dev, if you look at the dev config, what it does is it does not minimize it. Okay. And it creates a source map. That is helpful when you're trying to debug something. Once you're done with the debugging and everything, then you can run the build command, and then the build command actually minimizes it and does not create source map. So it does all those kind of things. So let's do build dev for now. And then here you'll see that it created account form.js. So account form.js always goes under web resources and under scripts. And because I did build dev, I can see the source map file here as well. So it helps me with the debugging as well.
Right.
So that's all about like how to go with the types and how to create the project and the TypeScript files and whatnot.
Yeah. So sorry, Danish, just coming back to stepping back a little bit to the npm scripts down you got on the bottom left. So those are basically predefined scripts to run the build command, right? For
Correct.
to transpile the TypeScript.
Correct.
So you don't need to run things like npm run build manually or anything like that.
Well, you can run npm run build or npm run build -dev. These are just scripts that I've when you created the project, that's part of the project template where I added this script, so you don't have to worry about which scripts to run and things like that.
Okay, cool. So does any of this change in the age of coding agents, for example? How would it work with that? Would the coding agent know to use these commands rather than running its own, for example?
Well, so initially you'll have to tell them to run build dev and then run build. But most of the agents, it all depends on which model you're picking. Most of the agent like Sonnet 4.6 or Opus or any other Codex 5.3 models and above are intelligent enough to understand because they get the full, if you're using GitHub Copilot, it gets the full context of the repo. So it understands like what is what, like what's JavaScript, what's TypeScript, what's compiling, where is it going, because it's using Webpack, it knows that it's getting transpiling to JavaScripts from this particular scripts and whatnot.
Cool.
Okay, so the next part is you have got the JavaScript, but again, I don't like to go into the portal and then upload this JavaScript. Right? I want to do it right from this interface, and you can do it. Right-click that JavaScript file, and then you have two options. You can say link to an existing web resource or upload and publish a web resource. So let's go and upload and publish a web resource.
Sorry, so this is JavaScript that's been produced by the TypeScript compiler.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I'm gonna skip out of that. don't want it to get published. But this was when we ran the npm run build dev, it created account form.js. Now I want to upload this account form.js to Dataverse, right? And it has to go into one of the solutions. So that's what this is. So I'm going to upload and publish web resource, upload as a new web resource. And then here I'm going to select my solution. So I've already created Power Widgets demo. Let me go there. And this is the display name. So I'm going to say account form.js. And then this is my unique name, which has like scripts or like very great folder structures, right? So I'm going to do scripts form.js. Okay, so now it's uploading that web resource. It's publishing it as well. Let's wait for that to get success. Perfect. So let's go and look at the Dataverse. And there you go, account form script. Oh, this is the old one. There you go. Account form.js just got uploaded 37 seconds ago. Right, so this is the one. If you open this up and
so all of this waiting time you've saved by doing it directly from VS Code, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And you can see it takes time. And we'll come back to like comparison as well. You can actually do comparison and stuff like that. But the key thing is when you're doing the linking, what I'm also doing is I'm doing this dvdt linker.xml. It holds the mapping between your Dataverse files and your local files. And everything is relative. The reason why I like this is now I can check in this file into a repo and you can download the code and you get the linkings automatically. So you don't have to worry about, hey, which file do I have to link to, right? If you're working with multi-developer environment, right, it becomes easier because all that configuration is part of your linker file that is checked into the repo. So you can take the code and then if you go and just do this, you can actually do upload directly. You don't have to link it again. Now because this is linked, you get a new option called as compare web resources, which I wanted to show, but I'll show it later. But that's the beauty of it. Is like, you get this linker file that is part of the repo. And then you can go back to the Dataverse Dev Tools. And then you can see that I've added this web resources for section. And then in the web resources section, if you go to the scripts, you should be able to see, actually for that, I have to fix something. Deauthenticate. Should show up here. There you go. Account form.js. Now it's green as well. So anything that is green is like, oh, it's all safe. Anything that is in red is like, oh, it's not connected anymore. But the other thing that I did was add a smart match to the web resource. So if you click on smart match, it will read all the JavaScript files that you have in your repo, and then compare it with the files on the server. So this one I've recently connected, right? So it's showing me 100% confidence, and it's also showing me that this file is up to date. So my local version and my server version matches 100%. Okay, and then it's up to date. So confidence level is match, but up to date is like whether the file is up to date with the server version or not. Okay. Now for the demo purpose, right? Let's add a file. Let's see. Yeah, demo.js, right? So let's do this. Let's add, maybe pick a different file. DVDT test only. Okay. So I'm adding a new TypeScript file. DVDT test only. Okay. And then let's, and I'm not going to do anything in it. Just going to put it. Okay. And it created a JavaScript file. Now it's not linked. Okay. It's not linked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my smart match again. Now you'll see that this file, dpdt, that is locally, it's telling me that you can connect this file to a dvdt test only.js on the server with a 60% confidence level match. Okay.
Okay, so that web resource is already in your environment then.
This web resource is already on the server.
Right.
I created a new file and I said, okay, this is because it's the same name, it matched on the name and said, oh, you already have a file on the server. Do you want to connect those two files?
Right.
Right. So I can directly link it here. And now it will tell me that it's 100% match, but it's not up to date. Right. So those kind of things. Now, if it's not up to date, let's go and compare those and then see what the difference is. So if I click here and I can say compare web resources, it's comparing the server side to a local. So this is my server.
Nice. Yeah.
And this is my local. So I can compare it and I can see what's the difference.
Nice.
Right. And I can do it with any files. I can do it with this file and we just uploaded this, right? So it should be a complete match.
Yeah.
If I do compare this one, see, no change. Right?
Yeah.
But if I change something and if I compare it, then you can see the differences between the files as well.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. And then going back to the Dataverse Dev Tools section, I've also added some CLI commands because I didn't want it to always go to the Microsoft documentation and then try to find what the CLI commands were for pack CLI commands, right? I just wanted to have some place where I can run these commands. So for example, if I want to see the list of all the profiles, I don't have any, but it just runs it. Now, for let's say you want to do not an or, but anything that needs some data, right? There is no, this computer doesn't have anything. But basically, if you run any commands, it will also ask you follow-up questions. So for example, like init, like pcf init, then it starts asking you the namespace and all those other things that are required for those commands. So the commands are executed when you provide input. So even if it needs input, it is going to ask for those inputs from you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's for the CLI commands. The Power Platform toolbox, eventually I'm going to deprecate this because again, I created that Power Platform toolbox as a desktop application for that same purpose. So this might get deprecated because I'm creating a VS Code extension for Power Platform Toolbox. So that is eventually going to come here. So this one won't have a space anymore. So this is all going to go away. But yeah, that was all for the web resources. There are very basic functionality regarding plugins as well that one of the contributor actually did. So I want to show that as well.
Yeah, sorry, before you go into the plugins, Danish, so sometimes what happens in the web resource development time is we often want to have like practices whereby we have common or shared logic in a single TypeScript class, and then we consume that from different web resources so that we're not repeating the same code over and over again, right? So typically what we want to do is we want to bundle or package those together before we publish them to Dataverse as a web resource as a single file. Does the tool enable that as well?
Yeah. So util.ts, let's say this is what it is. And then we say export function, something, right? Doesn't matter. And this is null, or this is when, let's say, use this. If seasonal define and something, right? Good. And then the same function is also in here as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next. All right. So it's in two different file, but the common function is getting exported from the utils file, right?
Yeah.
Let's see this as well. And now if you compile it, it's all part of the Webpack. So if you go to account form should have here is null or defined. It's coming from utils, and utils is coming from util.ts.
Yes.
And util.ts is embedded somewhere here. It should have a code somewhere. Oh, there you go. Function here.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
It's
So
nice.
yes,
So
you can do that.
so it handles the full life cycle of everything you need to do effectively with web resources and stuff, right? Very cool.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the days when we had to go through all the pain of setting up projects manually with it for TypeScript, and then it became such of an overhead that often customers would say, no, we can't justify this cost. So this is a real time saver. Very cool.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so moving on to the plugin side. Plugin side is pretty straightforward. So you can create a plugin project and using tag commands or using Visual Studio Code interface and whatnot. Whatever you choose, it doesn't matter, right? Once you have the plugin project, now even for plugin project, how do you deploy plugin project? So the same functionality, you right click it and say link to an existing Dataverse plugin. Once you link it, then it shows you all the assemblies on your Dataverse, and then you just, so this one is plugins.training, so I'm going to connect to this one, and it does the same thing. It creates a dvdt linker file, and then that dvdt linker file will have the link. So not just you, but any other developer that gets hold of this should be able to just deploy the plugins. And then you click on the CS project file and you say push plugins to Dataverse, and then that would push the plugins to Dataverse, and you should be able to see that. Oh, this one is a different. In the outputs, if you go to Dataverse, oh, there you go. It should show up in here as well as Dataverse Dev Tools. Oh, there you go. It's showing up now. So it's connected to my environment. And then there you go. So for some reason, this one is not authenticated. So that's why it's not authenticated. So it doesn't go through. So it failed to connect to Dataverse. But you could certainly do that.
Yeah. So no need to launch plugin registration tool, whether the Microsoft version or the X7 Toolbox version or anything like that.
Correct. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. That was all I had to show in Dataverse Dev Tools. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I mean, one thing that springs to mind is you stayed within VS Code, right? A lot of developers say, for C#, I prefer Visual Studio. Did you have to do anything special to enable C# compilation within VS Code? Any additional extensions or anything to install?
Yes. So I was in your boat, similar to what most of the developers in Power Platform space does today is they for plugins they will go to Visual Studio. For anything web resource or anything React, anything web development, they'll go to VS Code. I was doing the same thing, but I was tired of like keeping it both in sync and I was getting used to VS Code so much, and with all the configurations and all the customizations that I had done on VS
Hmm.
Code, I didn't want it to lose that interface. So I myself migrated over to using just VS Code for everything, including C# plugin development a while ago. The only caveat is I have a Mac OS, but plugins don't work on Mac OS. So I still have to use a Windows machine to build stuff and whatnot because it runs on MS build and not on .NET build. So that's the only reason I still use I still have Windows VMs. But to enable it in VS Code, you have to just install this C# dev kit.
Hmm.
Once you have installed C# dev kit, then everything else should just work from there.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
And the plugin registration functionality, does that work for both plugin assemblies and plugin packages as well, or just one or the other?
I have not done packages in a while, but I think, yeah, I'm not sure of the packages. I'll have to go and look at it.
Okay, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Okay, so it's covering web resources quite well and plugins as well. I guess custom workflows fall into the same category as plugins, so you could support that as well, or does it already cover it? Yeah.
It does because again, for plugins, we are just using pack plugin push.
Yeah.
And then we're just giving the assembly. So the custom workflows also fall in the same category.
Yeah.
So it should work for that as
Yeah.
well.
So and I guess because custom APIs are just implemented as plugins anyway, so that's also
Yes,
in the same
yeah.
category. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and what else have we left with this? I guess PCF controls.
PCF is a different extension,
Okay.
which is not part of Dataverse Dev Tools. So if
Mhm.
you go to extensions and you search for PCF Builder, you should be able to use this. So PCF Builder extension has different set of features because it is very specific to PCF. So it gives you IntelliSense on your configurations and whatnot. On your manifest files, it has commands, so you don't have to worry about remembering the commands. And then the other thing that I did in this one, which is very unique, is the play mode. So the reason why I had to do play mode, so normally, people like if you run pack PCF uh, the test command, watch command, the start watch command, it invokes the Microsoft harness. Now, on some of our clients, Microsoft harness was loading, but the control wasn't loading because Microsoft actually invokes some in their external libraries in that harness, and that was all getting blocked.
Mhm.
So we could not, we tried a lot of things, we disconnected the VM, all of those things. Somehow those, we couldn't load test harness at all. So with this one, what I did is in the play mode, you can actually run it and everything runs locally. Everything. It's all truly sandboxed. It's not using Microsoft Test Harness. I'm using Microsoft's code. I reverse engineered their code. So it looks like Microsoft Test Harness, but it's not using any of the Microsoft Test Harness. It's running within in VS Code. There's something called as web view. So it's creating a web browser web view within VS Code and then running everything locally. So it's truly sandboxed.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's this is a different extension altogether.
Yeah. Any reason why you chose it to be a separate extension rather than part of the same tool?
So I started with PCF Builder as a VS Code extension first.
Okay.
So this was launched first, and then came the Dataverse Dev Tools a few
Right.
years. So this was done 6 years ago,
Nice.
and Dataverse Dev Tools was done. Dev Tools was done 5 years ago. So 1 year after I did PCF Builder, I created Dataverse Dev Tools.
Nice. And in both cases, almost 30,000 downloads. So obviously people are seeing the value of this, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. So what I guess the new kid on the block is code apps. Do you have anything covering code apps, or is that a different beast?
I have not done anything, like I have not created any tools or any enhancements to the Dataverse Dev Tools regarding code apps. But I will certainly look into it and then see what are the opportunities, where else can we create it. Because ultimately, I don't want to add agentic AI functionalities in Dataverse Dev Tools down the line.
Right.
Like Dataverse MCP, like invoking Dataverse MCPs and whatnot, all this kind of jazz that we have with the new AI functionality. But because I've been so much focused on building Power Platform Toolbox, I haven't had the chance to look into Dataverse Dev Tools. So probably at some point I'll come back to Dataverse Dev Tools and add those enhancements.
Nice, cool. So is this an open source project, Danish, or is this something that
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how people can contribute and where they can find it.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see if I can go. There you go. Yeah, so it is an open source project. All of my projects, all of the tools that I normally create are always open source. Okay, there you go. So there's in detail documentation of on the README file of what to expect and things like that. It also has contributors listed. So I normally, like, if you are identifying bugs and trying to fix those bugs, coming up with ideas, contributing as on a PR, whatever contributions you do, you get listed on the repo with your identity here itself. So these are all the folks that have contributed to Dataverse Dev Tools in some way or the other. The plugin piece that I was talking about was done recently, I think so, a month ago maybe, by Moshke. So he was the one who did the plugin piece. So there are a lot of folks that have contributed to this. Mohsin is also helping on Power Platform Toolbox, but he was also helping me in this one with authentication piece. He's really great at authentication, by the way. Like he's the authentication guru. If you run into any sort of authentication piece, you can reach out to Mohsin anytime. So these are all the folks that have contributed.
Now you've got some big names on the community listed there as well. So a huge testament to the effort and thinking that's gone behind it. It's really amazing, and it's a big lifesaver as well. Really cool. Ooh.
Yeah.
So what else is on the roadmap for this?
To answer your question. Yeah. So just to complete your your question, so you can contribute. There are contributing guidelines. So just making sure that anyone who contributes just go through contributing guidelines. They're not crazy. But that would help me to review the code pretty easily. And on the roadmap, there's nothing on the roadmap right now because, as I said, like I'm so much focused on Power Platform Toolbox right now that I've not paid any attention whatsoever to Dataverse Dev Tools. But I think the main things that I know that I want to focus on is so we did a really nice authentication piece in Power Platform Toolbox. I want to take that and then put it in Dataverse Dev Tools so that experience is seamless, and maybe even Dataverse Dev Tools and Power Platform Toolbox extensions would share the connection. So something around that lines, I'm going to take a look at it. And then second thing is enabling that communication with AI, code apps, generative pages, and other things that were recently launched, but I haven't had chance to update the extension.
Nice. I look forward to that. So one thing that's been on my mind since we've been talking, Danish, is obviously this is on the marketplace now, right?
Right.
Could you tell us a little bit about the journey you had to go through to get it onto the marketplace? I'd imagine that wasn't very straightforward. You have to meet certain criteria and thresholds to achieve that standard. I'm guessing.
Well, yeah. So it's not that hard and fast. There's validations that needs to happen, but it's the package validations that they do. You don't have to go through some crazy amount of no, process. Actually, I can show you quickly. So once you go to marketplace.widgetstudio.com, you have to log in with your ID. And if you have not created a publisher, it will ask you to first create a publisher. Publisher is the one that, so on the extension, when you go to the extension, you see a name, right? This is the publisher basically. So this is my publishing name, right? So I have 3 tools under me. So that's exactly what they ask for. Like you create a publisher, and then once you have created a publisher, then you can start publishing the tools to it. The only thing that you have to do is in the code, not this one. Open up actual Dataverse Dev Tools code. Okay, so in the Dataverse Dev Tools code, there are some, and as you start going through the VS Code extension or documentation, it will similarly how we created a TypeScript project and JavaScript project. They have some commands that you have to run, yeoman commands, and then once you run those yeoman commands, the project structure is automatically created for, and then they also kind of give you the same scripts, right? So one of the scripts is package and VS Code pre-publish, and then once you have done with those, then you can actually just do a publish. Now, for me, my publish happens through the ALM process. So what I do, the way I created my ALM process is in here. That happens. But I have like a main branch where all my PRs get merged, and then I have a release branch. So whenever I'm doing, whenever I want to release something, I just do a pull request from main to release, and then I have an action that runs and release, and then this will just go ahead and then deploy the extension to VS Code. And that's about it. And that is also open source. So you can take a look at it. It's not hidden. Everything is open source, right? So you can go to GitHub, go to workflows, and go to release.
Nice. So in terms of so for the code to be ready to meet a certain standard to be published, does it need to go through any sort of like security scanning or any quality controls that Microsoft kind of force upon you, in order to publish it, anything like that?
They do it. They do kind of like, once you publish your extension, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes for them to run that process, and then they will send you an email saying that your version is published. But if they find any vulnerabilities, then it fails, and then it will tell you why it failed in the error.
And it's all fully automated. It's no, it's not, because I hear of people wanting to publish, for example, custom connectors, and they say it's quite a lengthy process for that kind of thing.
No, not for this one. No, it's all automated.
Okay, fine. And do you need to be onboarded as a Microsoft partner or anything like that to do that? No. Anybody can do it, right?
Anybody can do it. Yeah. Okay, the only thing that, so I don't have a check mark against me, and I want to work towards that of how to get that check mark. But I think so. For that, you have to get like domain verification or something like that. That is the only thing that's manual right now, but everything else is automated, and there's no onboarding.
Cool, nice. Yeah. Thank you so much, Danish. That was all my questions. Really enjoyed that insightful demonstration, and really adding a lot of value to developer productivity, and especially in the current age in AI. We're building a lot of stuff very quickly. And we can, if we're not careful, you can end up building a lot of bad quality stuff very quickly, which can be hard to undo later down the line. So something that this really adds value to that story, I think. So really appreciate you sharing your insights and taking the time out to talk to me on this today.
Yeah, thanks, Parvez. It was nice to walk you through what Dataverse Dev Tools can do, and happy to be on the show, as I said before, and looking forward for more connects like this.
Yeah, thanks. What we'll do is we'll drop the links to the extension and the repo and your socials, etc., on the description for the to the YouTube video, and hopefully people take inspiration and wisdom from this and take benefit from this. And I'm sure you'll be open to people contacting you with questions, and because you're a community superstar, so I'm sure you'll be happy to help.
Yeah, 100%. If people want to connect with me, feel free. My line is always open.